And what I'm going to do is we're going to start a fire. What time is it? Oh, we might not be able to do this outside. We might have to make this inside. But we're going to try it. We're going to try to do it outside. We're going to start a fire on the barbecue grill. And we're going to get a bigger cup than this. This is the cup we're actually going to drink out of. But we're going to boil the water in a cup. We're going to pour the boiled water in here. That's off of the fire. And I'm going to put the pine needles right in there. We're going to cover it up. Let it steep for a few minutes. We don't want the resin and stuff evaporating out of there. And we're going to have some honey. We're just going to use this honey. This is Walker's Pure Natural Honey. This is Central Texas Wildflower Honey. And we get from I can't remember the name of that store, but it's the same people who make this stuff, but they own the store west of Temple out on Highway 36. And they own a bee farm. And they also make wine, and I think they make mead out there, honey mead. So I like a lot of honey in my tea. So we're going to put that much in there. It's about 1 2/3 of a tablespoon. And we're going to go outside and start this fire, and we'll get this water boiling. I'll be right back. Alright, this is Saul with another video from Master Resources. This is the conclusion of the pine needle tea, or the continuation of the pine needle tea. What we're going to do is we're going to put the pine needles directly in there. Now, a lot of people like to steep the pine needles in the water and then pour the pine needles out later. I prefer to just put the pine needles in there and have a little bit at the bottom when I'm done drinking, because it continues steeping while you're drinking it and it gets tastier and tastier. Alright, now sometimes you get some with your drink. That's alright. I guess I'm going to need to put something underneath this thing so it doesn't burn. You kind of eyeball it depending upon how strong you like your tea and how much honey or sugar or whatever you put in there. And I'm going to stir it up real good. And I'm going to cover it with this. I'm going to let it steep for a while. I'll be back when it's done steeping. Alright, the tea's just started steeping. I'm going to let that sit for a few moments. We're good. And what I'm going to show you is, well, I'm going to kind of demonstrate a couple different ways that you can do this. Now, what a lot of people like to do, they heat up the water in whatever container they have, and then they'll pour that water into another container with the pine needles, and they'll let that steep without the honey or the sugar or whatever. Now, when they pour it into the final cup, which you can probably pour it back into the container that you heated it up in by then, because it'll be cooled off, especially if you're outside and you got it sitting on some rocks or something. And then you put like a bandana or some kind of screen, pour it over, and if you're going to do the bandana, you put the bandana over the cup that you're going to be drinking out of, and you make it like a little hole to where the bandana kind of dips down into it, so all the pine needles don't fall off the side, and you won't lose your tea. It'll go on the inside. Even with the water bottle, that'll work. Now, if you have a narrow mouth water bottle, you're going to have to empty some of those pine needles before you pour the rest of it in there, because it's going to be a pain. Trust me on that. The wide mouth water bottles are better. I don't have a wide mouth water bottle, but I have this cook set right here because it is a good price. I think these were like $1.50 each, something like that. Whoa, that's getting pretty hot there. I'm gonna move this around so it doesn't burn. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, this is steeped for a little while, this pine needle tea. And by the way, these containers are IMUSA, I-M-U-S-A, and you can get them at Walmart. Alright, in the houseware section where you find the normal cooking dishes and pots and stuff like that. Alright, so I went ahead and changed up my game plan. What I am going to do is actually switch cups like we normally do. And I'm going to use the strainer that comes with this thing because I have it. And obviously if you're out in the bush you wouldn't need another pan down here, but I got that pan here just in case it splashes. I don't get it all over the table here. Alright, here we go. Alright, and you're left with those pine needles. You can discard those, set them up for composting or whatever. And pop off this lid here. Get all these pine needles off the side. Alright, we're going to end up with a couple of pine needles in the tea, but that's alright. That happens. Just about every single time I do this, that happens. Alright, so let's see if I can get you a picture of this here. I don't know if you can see that. It's green. It's dark, but it's still not opaque. It's slightly translucent. I can barely see the bottom of the cup down there. I don't think you can in the picture. But it's quite a bit, and I'm going to drink some here in just a minute. It's very hot. I'm going to have to let this cool down. Alright, I'm going to let this cool down, and I'll get back with you. Now, if you're out in cold weather, you want to drink it a little hotter. Obviously, in Texas, it's not really getting too cold this time of year. It was a nice evening though. It was about 75 to 80 degrees at about 8 p.m. with a nice breeze going. So walking around was nothing. But the daytimes are getting up to 95, 100, sometimes more than that around here. So hot tea is not necessarily the way to go. You might want to let it cool off enough to be, you know, ambient temperature tea. Alright, I'll be back when this cools off, and I'm going to drink some. Alright, now this is the conclusion to the pine needle tea video. Here we got the pine needle tea. I'm not going to lie, I cheated a little bit. I stuck it in the fridge for a few minutes. It's still warm, but I already tasted it. It's delicious. Here we go. Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. Man, I can't believe you can just go pick that. Yeah, this is going to give you enough vitamin C to where you won't even need citrus fruits. So, when you pick them, you want to pick the green needles. You don't want the brown ones. The green needles have the vitamins. The brown ones, they're dry, they're no good. You don't want to pick them too much ahead of time. If you don't refrigerate them, they last maybe a day or two before they start drying out. So you want to pick them pretty much on the day, pretty much just before you want to actually make it. That way you'll have the most nutrients in it and it won't deteriorate. Yeah, that's good. I'll see you with another video.